Hey, everybody. It is Not Your Mother's Day Fantasy League podcast. I'm your host, Mike. As always, I am joined by our analyst, Dave Buck. He does all the research, so you don't have to. Welcome, Dave. It's great to see you.
Hey, it's good to be here, Mike. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. I might as well include myself in that group because I have not been able to put the time into the research as you have lately, but always happy to be here.
So,
Thanks for joining on with us.
er,
Jordan, he's already salty in what may be a loss to you this week.
yep, he's salty. We'll talk about him later, though. Okay, so
The
just leave him
the
in suspense. We'll talk about him.
yes, the team that cannot be named henceforth. We've got some we don't have a ton of matchups that are like super intriguing for tonight. So we're probably going to talk about a couple other things that are going on around the league. So why don't we just start off with this one? How come nobody can stay alive in Survivor? I mean, seriously, nobody? Like, we're rebooting this thing again?
We are rebooting. In case you missed it, we had 6 out of 8 teams alive for week 5. All 6 teams picked Seattle over the Giants last week, and we all walked out with the big L. So
Yep. And I think it's because a bunch of us said we're not going to play any games. A bunch of us used up the Niners last week. They weren't available for this week, which they would have cost some teams either way. So yeah, let's take Seattle against home in the loudest stadium in football against the Giants who have been awful while their best player cannot play. Yeah, let's do that. Whoops.
just crazy. So we're going to reboot it. Obviously, we have no idea how to pick winners in the NFL. So
Yep. So Survivor reboot number 4.
hang on a second here. Got a
I'm
phone
gonna
call.
mute you. I'm muting Dave and I'm gonna fill for a little bit while he does his thing. So yeah, kind of wild that we're on our 4th adaptation of this Survivor League. This is the only one I did this year. I usually do a couple, but I kind of missed some deadlines, and I'm like, it's fine. I'll stick to one here. Looks like Dave's ready to go, but
All right. Anyways, back to the Survivor thing. I just want to point out for the other 7 guys, Nick has already picked his loser for the week, so he's going to be the first one eliminated, regardless of what the rest of us do, because he's already got his loser pick in.
I'm very happy to hear that. I do see what look to be some pretty juicy matchups for next week. So hoping to last longer than a week this time. So
Well, let's get into the
all right.
MDFL. Let's talk about what happened.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about what actually is happening.
Well,
We'll
before we get
start
into
with
the
mine.
okay,
Oh,
before
go
we
ahead.
get into the games, Mike, we got to set this up. Okay, we got a
Yes.
couple trades to talk about, but you got to
Yeah.
start with the waiver wire. Okay,
Okay.
so
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 we'll
we have
go to that matchup. There it is. It was
there it
this
is
one
right
here
there.
between the Patriots and the Raiders.
We're going to
Dave,
talk
why
about
is this so intriguing?
well, this one intrigues me. They're both 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's a good matchup on paper coming into this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
but the shenanigans that happened getting here made it even better. For
Uh-huh.
those that missed it, Matt needed a quarterback for this week. He tried to get a quarterback last week. He picked up Dalton, I think, for almost league minimum. Found out that he was over he had 4 quarterbacks on his roster, got dinged and fined for that, cap penalty for next year, and he lost his quarterback, Dalton. So he tries to go back and get a quarterback this week. And Joey, who he's playing this week, goes out and he bids all the money he's got for Andy Dalton trying to block the Raiders. And in the comments, you can see the great old big old FU Raiders. Ha ha ha. So if that doesn't set up a little trash talking between these 2 games, I don't know what it is. But anyways, great move by Joey. I love it. The funny thing about it is Joey only had like $6.3 million and he spent 6.1. So I guess if
Yeah.
the Raiders really wanted him, Raiders had like I think 23 million or something like that. Um, the Raiders did pull off a trade this week, and Joey said, if anybody's going to trade with the Raiders, understand that he's going to pay the price. You can get more, whatever you want. Um, Mike and the Raiders and the Jags end up doing a deal this week, and the Raiders got their quarterback in Baker Mayfield. Also picked up J.K. Dobbins and Kobe Dean. But
Hmm.
I feel that he paid a price to the Jags, and the Jags took advantage of him, taking the top running back coming out of the
Mm,
draft, Jonathan Brooks, and getting defensive end Brian Burns in return.
yeah.
And, Brooks is probably due to hit his IR window coming out of that in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
Um, this is dynasty. This is a big pickup for Jags. Salty price for the Raiders picking up Baker Mayfield, but guy needs a quarterback. What's he supposed to do?
Yeah. I mean, there's three, four things that are inevitable. Um, Death, taxes, and a low ball offer from the Jags. I've rejected more trade offers than him than probably the rest of the league combined. There's one of them. If I went back, I would look like an idiot for rejecting, and I'd be set up pretty well right now. But we're not going to talk about that one. Um, but that sets up this matchup where it looks like Joey has a shot at a comeback here.
Well, they both got two players left. Where am I? Here we go. Yeah, but both got two players left. Joey's down by 15 points, but he's got the Saints coach probably not a lot of points there, especially playing Kansas City tonight. So Saints are going to have to pull off an upset for him to get any points there. But he does have Alvin Kamara going. The Raiders have got both of their cornerbacks going, and Adebo and McDuffie. So two corners versus Alvin Kamara. 15 points. Yeah, it's if Kamara goes off tonight, Joey could find himself getting the victory here. But somebody's coming
Yeah.
out of this as a 6-1. Somebody's gonna take a tough loss and fall to 5-2 there.
Yep. I would like some help. I don't know if it's going to matter or not, but somebody needs to bring the Raiders down a peg. I'll just say that. Why don't we jump to the matchups that we thought were the most intriguing and had an opportunity to flip tonight. So we'll go to this Ravens Colts matchup, which could be intriguing.
Well, this game here, this one surprises me. It's Gavin's up by 30 points. So far, it's good showing for Gavin. He doesn't have his Detroit Lions either. He has Raven players or he has Detroit Lions players, and the Lions are on a bye this week. So I also want to point out on the waiver wire, I think somebody hacked Gavin's account because Gavin picked up like 4 or 5 guys on the waiver wire, and I don't think he's ever used the waiver wire before. But he picked up 4 or 5 guys, got outbid on a couple and stuff like that. So somebody might have hacked his account and picked up some other players other than Lions and Ravens. But anyways, in this game, Gavin is finished here, but he is up by 30 points. Jason, he's got 3 players left. He's got the Kansas City kicker, linebacker Tranquil, and of course his favorite player, defensive tackle Chris Jones. Those 3 are averaging 36 points on the year per week
Yeah.
combined. So 36 would put him over that 30 that he needs. So obviously this one's probably going to go down to the wire. It'll be a good one to watch tonight.
Yep, this one could flip. Jason does have some studs going for sure. And I'm with you, Sean. To those that need the reminder, Sean had Herbert get hurt in like week 13 or 12 last year. And then he streamed quarterbacks on the way to a Super Bowl victory. This is just one of a myriad of reasons why I say I will never overvalue quarterbacks in fantasy. They're very easy to replace.
Yep. That they are.
Um, so yeah. Next matchup that could get intriguing was that Chargers matchup. I just suck at scanning these and finding where they're at. Here we go.
There we go.
Bills versus Chargers.
Pretty much, I think Buffalo, Jeremy's got this under control. He's up by 28 points. He's got two players left. He's got Xavier Worthy and Brian Cook. Um, and the Chargers have Olave left. So, again, if Olave goes off for a couple touchdowns, they shut down Worthy. I mean, it could flip. Don't see it happening, but 28 points is a lot to happen. But we had a week where it was interesting matchups depending on who you played. We had some really good high scores back and forth, and then we had some really low-balling scoring teams that are going to walk away with some victories this weekend. Green Bay, we'll talk about that later. So,
yep, this was just one of the few that I mean, it's a slim chance, but most of these are pretty much done. I think we were saying these are the only two that might flip, but it's very unlikely for this one.
but again, the loser of this, even if Jared doesn't score another point, 340 points probably ends up beating 20 other owners this week easily.
Yeah,
20 plus owners this weekend.
Yeah,
but just a bad draw. Similar to yourself and Detroit Jordan. Both of you guys had your highest score of the year, and both walking away with the big L this weekend. So,
wow. I mean, we just got a wealth of riches here when you can just put Ayuk on the bench.
yeah.
I'm not even mad about it because I mean, playing Bucky Irvin against the Falcons, okay, I'm not mad at that. Swift hasn't been great, but obviously the Panthers don't know how to play defense or do much else. So, and you're not going to start him over Jamar or Nico, in my opinion. So, yeah, not even mad about that move.
Yeah, well,
And
Nico's out.
ooh,
He left the game with a hamstring injury, and
ouch,
their coach said today that he's week to week now. So he left
ouch.
early in that game.
Yeah, that could be a tough loss. Very much continuing to play like a wide receiver one this
But
season.
being in the NFC and knowing that I don't have to compete against Jeremy, I can just say Jeremy has got plenty of depth to be able to
Yeah,
replace Nico
no
Collins.
kidding.
One of
Yeah,
the few guys that has got enough depth to do that.
Nico Collins is on holdout alert. He's on holdout watch. Watch out for Nico Collins. He's going to be asking for like 27 mil at the end of this year. You're going
Not
to
if he
see
misses a couple games. If he ends up missing a couple games and he only has 12 or 13 games in the year, he's not going to be in that top five. I mean,
as long as he doesn't sustain too many losses, this could be a gift in disguise for him.
yep, freaking
Is this
steal having him on a $1.3 million
yeah.
contract. You got to be ashamed of yourself, Jeremy, for paying him such a small fee.
this is yeah,
Shame.
this is one of the best deals in the league right here. He's on holdout alert unless
Shameful.
he sits
Shameful.
out. Yep. All right, so we'll go back to the maybe less
Let's
interesting
kick it off at
matchups.
the top. This
Speaking of teams that score a lot and are going to lose, I'm putting up my highest points, and it's going to be in a losing effort.
both those teams are final, so that is a final 363, 335. I will say that Rich was a little scared about this because he had a lot of big guys on buys this week. And Josh Allen actually looked human or normal this week, only scoring
Yeah,
19 points.
yeah, 9 for 30. Um, Yeah, and there's a couple moves I could have made that could have flipped this thing around. I like Flacco's chances when he's in there. He's actually looked pretty good playing. Fields has actually outscored Caleb each of the last 2 weeks. I could have looked at it and said, all right, the Bears should dominate the Panthers, but I didn't do that. I could have also started Lazard over Judy, but I still refuse to believe he's no more talented than Judy. It's just that Deshaun Watson is that bad. So I just, yeah. Could have
Well,
flipped this, but oh
hey,
well. It is what it is.
I didn't see it, Mike. But did you have any of the Steelers Cowboys players last night?
Well, I had Fields going instead of Flacco or Williams,
Okay,
and then
because
I had
Rich had T.J. Watt that went off for like 40+ points. So
yes,
he
he
was
did.
probably you were probably ahead of him going into that game.
I was still slightly behind, and I needed some things out of Nick Herbig. But Nick isn't watching, but another opportunity for me to say that Dorian Williams is doing the most with his playing time and those 11 tackles against the Texans there. Uh, he's known Matt Milano, but he's doing pretty well. Yeah, and I could have went all Vikings secondary and tossed Gilmore in there, but over Byron Murphy. But yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes matchup luck. That's part of fantasy.
Yep.
Here we go. Nick's gonna move on to 6-1. Looks like.
Yeah, we got what's the point difference? Nick's up by 31 points here. Nick's got
Yep.
New Orleans kicker, and he's got two linebackers left, and Warner and Davis. Tennessee still, Dustin still got it. Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, but that's just not enough to come up over 31 points unless something stupid happens where Mahomes puts up one of his 50 spots. But if he's doing that, if he's going to put 50 points up, the Saints two linebackers that Nick's going to play are going to run into some tackles somewhere.
There's a couple things that sort of stand out to me. One, did Myles Garrett get hurt in this game? He didn't record a sack or anything.
I am not. Click on him, see what he says. Scroll down.
Says he was good to go for Sunday.
No.
I don't know if he played or not. I'll have to go to like snap counts and look that up. I was just shocked to see Myles Garrett with a goose egg.
So,
Um, Additionally, in this matchup, the other thing that stood out to me is that Nick is going to get away with a W on Hertz's bye week with Jacoby Brissett in there. That's
who
just
who
unfair.
who Brissett has probably just played his last game as a starting quarterback for the Patriots. They make that switch to Drake May this upcoming week. So
Yeah,
what a
that'll be
dog.
coming.
We're rooting for you, Dustin. Can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm rooting for you here to take down the Bengals.
I know he's going to throw Jacoby Brissett out there. Myles Garrett has a goose egg. He's going to score like maybe 260 and he's still going to win. It just feels bad.
Yep. He's going to
Man.
cheat the league when, like I said, everybody. There's a bunch of teams that are going to get 300+ points and not win this weekend.
Rico Dowdle's 29 on the bench. The other one is I just wanted to point out that Kyle Pitts gave him 24 on the bench. It's so fitting. It's like the best game he's had. And Kobe Turner with a 50 burger here on the bench. And he's still gonna win. This just all feels bad.
Scroll down. How
Oh
many
my
points did he actually leave on the bench? 242.
242.
So right now he's got more points on the bench than what he has on his starting lineup.
Yeah. I had a lot of bench points too, just to compare 248. So I had more bench points than him, but I don't feel bad about my overall score here at least. So it is what it is. We'll move on here. This one's out of hand. It's over.
This one's over. Jacksonville's up by 203 points. Pittsburgh's got 5 players left. It doesn't matter. The tough part about this, Jim, if you're listening, you have an illegal roster. You got to play starters. Micah Parsons been out since Friday, so I had to tag him with a cap penalty for next year. So you got to have starters, guys. You can't be playing guys that are on bye weeks or players that are out. Bylaws give you a 24-hour window. He had almost 48 hours on this one. So, anyways, that one's over. Jacksonville's going to 4-3. Pittsburgh's falling to 1-6.
My God, he's got over 90 points on the bench between Kirk Cousins and Drake London. I mean, I wouldn't be starting Cousins over Jordan Love either, but it's just funny to see.
Yeah, but if I'm going to dig on it, I don't know how you leave Drake London on the bench. Regardless, you look at his flex 5. Um, Granted, you got a touchdown out of Elijah Higgins, but I don't know how he starts. Jalen Waddle. I get it. Jalen Waddle's a good player, but Tyler Huntley throwing the ball there,
No.
not very well. And then Charbonnet, he's no longer the starter now that Walker's back in that lineup. Um,
Yeah. Definitely some things we could have done to improve
it,
this score.
it's painful to see. I'm still kind of attached, but I'm trying to let go.
All right. And it looks like the Browns are going to pull this one
Yep.
off.
Got two left for Dan and his Browns. He's up by 58 points. Josh and his Texans, they've only got one player left, Carl Granderson. This one's all but being over, so give that win to Dan. He's moving to 4-3. So
Yep, just kind of going through his matchups here. Yeah, Brock had a lackluster day and a losing affair against the Cardinals. I still can't believe how that game ended.
there was actually a Trevor Lawrence showing in that game too. A Trevor Lawrence spotting here. I think he had like 35, 36 points. Yeah, something like that.
Well, we've learned at least one thing this season is that if you want to make a quarterback look good, just throw the Colts defense on the other side. So far, that has been a recipe for success. We did nothing to address that secondary in the offseason. We sat on our hands. All right. We talked about
Talk
the
about that one.
Ravens and Colts. This would be interesting if Jason comes storming back. This would
I,
be a pretty big win for him.
I think Jason does pull that off. I think he can come up with the 36 points that he needs for that. So
Based on who you said he has left, I agree with you.
so this one's over. Braxton's out of players. Denver. I don't need a quarterback. Sean. He's got two
He's
players
right.
left. Over 318. It's irrelevant who he's got left, so I didn't even check it out. So
With 10 points out of Darnold, it's not going to matter.
yep,
It's
don't
not
need a
going to matter.
quarterback in this league according to Denver.
Not when he can get 49 out of Trevon Walker. Let's see. Just kind of looking at who stood out here. Tyke Smith with a big day on the bench there. Yep, that one not close. We did talk about the fun lead up to the Patriots and
Yep.
Raiders matchup here. That's one to watch out for tonight.
Talked about
Uh,
Buffalo Chargers.
we
Now,
did.
now we move
It
into the
looks like
NFC.
the Bears are going to be 5-2 after this win.
Bears are going to go 5-2. He's up by 102 points. That's more than what he needs. But he's still got Shaheed and the Saints punter. Dustin in Tampa. He's got Worthy, Werner, Davis, Harris. He's got 4 left, but not enough firepower to overcome 100 points.
Yeah, that's when you're scoring 334 with 2 to go. You're going to be a tough out. You are going to be a tough out, and that was with leaving Slayton on the bench, but he doesn't need Slayton at all. I totally get that move. Jaguars offense, just play the Colts. Your offense will look good. Moving on. We have the team formerly known as the Lions against the Falcons.
What do I know about this game except for Jordan is done and out of players? But I want to point out a couple things on this one here for you, Jordan. I know you told me not to say your name, Jordan. So, Jordan, I'm just going to say the Detroit Lions here. I caught you on a week that all your Lion players weren't playing, so I felt pretty good about that. And then you freaking took it to me and you punched me in the face on Thursday night on my Falcons, taking Mayfield, Drake London, and then Jesse Bates. You played those 3 against me on the big win that Kirk Cousins got us. And you freaking were ahead of me by like 80 or 90 points Thursday night. And I got almost the big old goose egg from playing Algier and Bijan that weekend. And I don't know how I overcame that, but you put a smacking down on me on Thursday night. But the other thing I want to point out to you, Jordan, is we've had this conversation. When you have a tight end like Likely, you have to play him. 2 touchdowns. You left him on the bench again, buddy. So
Man, what is he? I have not looked at what he's been doing since that week 1 outpouring. And he's only had 2 catches the last 2 weeks and 4 over the last 3.
so I don't know. I'd be playing with him. I'd be putting him on the bench. I'd be putting him in my lineup. But speaking of my tight end, here's one that blew me. So I had Tank Bigsby in my lineup because Trey McBride was coming out of concussion protocol, and right before the 1 o'clock start game, you know, I hear that McBride's going to start, so I put him in the starting lineup, and I pulled Bigsby out of my starting lineup, and Bigsby goes off for 2 touchdowns and 31 points. So
Yeah,
who would have known?
if you want your fantasy players to look good, just match them up against the Colts defense.
Cannot believe that.
I saw this. I gotta find this graphic real fast. Shouldn't take me too long. It is here. It is in week 1. Joe Mixon ran for 159 yards against the Colts. That's his most since 2021. In week 2, Josh Jacobs ran for 151 yards. That's his most since 2022. In week 3, Caleb Williams threw for 363 yards. That's his career high. In week 4, Justin Fields threw for 367 yards. That's his career high. And in week 5, Trevor Lawrence threw for 371 yards, his career high.
So, Mike, what I'm hearing you say is that whoever's in the Survivor League should be taking whoever's playing the Colts this weekend.
I'm not even saying they're that bad of a team, but that defense with Buckner out and no secondary, it's rough. It's rough. And I'm the one that's got Buckner on the IR, and he's by far my best defensive player. Yay. Okay, moving on.
So, anyways, I just want to say thank you to Jordan. He's going to get me to bed early tonight. I don't have to stay up and watch this game and stress everything out. So, thank you for Jordan for letting me have a good night's sleep tonight. I appreciate it, buddy. Good game. So, and sorry you're going to score 332, your high of the year, and take a big L. So, and then we'll go talk about the Packers.
Yep.
Our last undefeated team. Green Bay's our last undefeated team, sitting at 6-0. And the dude, Mike, is going to score 260 points plus 2 players. He's got 2 left. Hold on, I got it here. Green Bay, where are you at, Green Bay? Right there. He's got Mahomes and Kelsey left. So he does have some players. He'll be lucky if he hits 300 regardless. It's still a soft schedule for him, so.
Yeah, it's interesting how matchup luck can play against you, and he's kind of admitted he's not feeling super confident in his record. I felt that our first season doing this, I started out 6-0 and then did not make the playoffs. Tyler Huntley,
Yep.
yeah, that's with that goose egg from Myles Garrett there.
Now, if you want, and I will pick on Mike just a little bit. If you can pull up the main screen with everybody's points for and points against, I think Mike's got like 1,500 points. Pull up the standings. Scroll down to him. Yeah, Mike's got. Mike is points against. Okay, points against. He is. The teams that are playing against him have only scored 1,500 points, 1,534. And if you look at everybody else, everybody's, like Danny right down there, he's got 1,900. Everybody's like 16, 17, 18, 1,900 points. Mike is at a season low 1,500 points. So I don't know if it's intimidation or whatever, but whoever's showing up to play Green Bay, they are bringing their best game. And by far, that is like probably over 100 points lower than any other score against Mike.
He has the lowest points against by far. You
By
are
far.
correct by that. It looked like I was the second lowest and I'm still losing, but my team hasn't woken up.
Yeah,
by 19 points per game. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Wow.
So good for you, Mike. That will catch up to you in playoff time.
The other intriguing part about this matchup, well, the matchup is over, but Brent was, the one who made that trade for Sam Darnold. Everybody said, well, what the heck are you doing? And then Sam Darnold led the league in touchdowns for the first month of the
Yep.
season. And then it became, Brent, what did you know that nobody else knew? Well, really, it was because this was the week his other two quarterbacks were on a bye. He needed a
He
quarterback for
needed a
this week.
quarterback.
And unfortunately, Sam Darnold couldn't even get him double digits in the 1 week he needed his
1 week he
services.
needed him. Yep.
Yeah, so a rough outing out of his flex players and whatnot. So hopefully Brent will be able to bounce back next week. All right, moving on to this matchup here. The Panthers are going to be going 5-2.
Yeah, Panthers are going 5-2. I needed a little bit of help here, Hayden, to be able to catch Adam here. We're going to still be the same record, but he's got me head to head on both points and in division. So Hayden's done. He's out of players. Adam's got Kamara left. He's up by 17 plus whatever Kamara has. So another good weekend for Adam. Another 316 points, I think it was, plus whatever points he gets out of Kamara. So
Yeah, and looks like Brian Thomas had his coming out party against the Colts defense. So
he
that's
did.
nice to see. Yeah,
And
very
that
nice
and
to
that
see.
partially could be because Nico Collins was out though too. So could
Or
be good for the Brian Thomas owners.
you're mixing up your AFC South teams there.
Oh, my bad.
Uh Jags versus Texans, but I got you.
Okay.
I got you. I think Christian Kirk didn't do a whole lot in this one though. Okay.
Dallas, San
Heck am I?
Francisco.
Yeah, there we go.
This one, this one's a surprise here. Donnie came in 2-4 after his big week, beating Nick, giving Nick his big first loss of the year. Way to go, Donnie. Matt came in here at 4-2 versus 2-4 against the Cowboys, and Matt's finding himself almost 100 points behind, actually 94. Dallas has got Chase Young and Tranquil left. Matt's got 3 left. Mateo, Watson, and Chris Jones. Not going to be enough. Looks like Donnie's going to get himself another victory here over San Francisco.
Nice little 50 burger out of Burrow, which you're going to need when Marvin Harrison and DK Metcalf are only giving you 14 points total.
Yep.
But yeah, good production out of his defense here as well. Matt, the other Tucker Craft owner, I was really happy with his little breakout here. I like him as a starter moving forward for my squad. Okay, the Eagles and the Seahawks looks like this one, no drama for
This is
Philly.
one is same as over. Philly's up by 36 points. He's got 1 left. The Saints offense. Josh is chasing 36 points. He's got Carl Granderson. Unless Granderson goes off for a 50 spot, this one's probably not going to change tonight.
Yep, Hayden, the non-benefactor of matchup luck. I always say fantasy is part the draft, it's part waiver wires and trades, and it's part luck.
Part of it's luck and who you're playing.
Who you're playing, when injuries happen, you can talk about depth, but there are some injuries that you can just simply cannot predict and recover from.
Christian
Um,
McCaffrey.
yeah. Or, Tua going down and then Tyreek
Yeah, two
value
is
being
another one
nothing.
going down.
Just killing Waddle and Tyreek right now, and Achan for that matter. Just kind of looking out breakout performers in this matchup. Um, Anytime you crack 300, you got to have a few guys going off. Nobody really going off of this team, just a bunch of double-digit solid outputs here. So top to bottom, just decent games out of his guys.
Okay,
All right.
Washington, Arizona here. Dan's up by 32 here. Yeah, I don't know as if Jeff's got enough to come back for this. Washington's still got Andy Reid, Alante Taylor, and Justin Reed for him. Arizona's got Butker, the KC kicker, defensive end Dana, and linebacker Chanel. I don't know if that's enough to make up 32 points here. So um, Dan and his Washington commies are going to go to 5-2 here.
Yeah, he's gonna get well over 300 here. 50 burger out of Lamar. He's got Caleb on the bench there, so he doesn't even need him. Yeah, that's interesting you say that, Sean. I was trying to think of what guys still have value am I willing to let go of? And then that led to me and Dave talking about whether Tua returns this year. I say he does, and it's not because he needs the money. He's set for life if he retires now. I just think he's 27, he's in his prime, and he can't shut his competitive spirit off.
And I just think that there's no reason why he should come back. He's on a guaranteed contract. Take whatever money you get settled out of that, and go live a life, buddy. I mean, don't be brain
Yeah.
dead tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, and if that were to happen, then it comes down to who do the Dolphins get to replace him. I mean, they're going down the path right now of just not even being competitive or making the playoffs. So do you just ride Huntley and then draft Tua's replacement next year? That's a very likely strategy if that were to happen, but I just don't see Tua hanging it up.
Well, and even if they do, even with the quarterbacks that are coming out, I don't know as if there's a quarterback that's NFL ready. And then, I mean, what do you do with that offense that you need a veteran quarterback to run that offense? You don't need a great quarterback, but I don't think a starting rookie with no NFL experience is going to be able to run that
Yeah.
offense.
I mean, it could be something they do, but they bring in, a free agent vet to keep that competitive drive going, maybe. But yeah, the Dolphins are cooked unless they get a quarterback in there. So I don't know. We can talk about Hill. I need a lot of pieces for him though. So uh and then we've got our last matchup, the Giants and the Rams.
Okay, this one here, Scott's up by 44. Um, I'm out on a limb here. I'm thinking the Giants have Kareem Hunt left as a running back. So I had a hard time
Sure.
finding his fifth flex tonight, but if that's it, I don't see 44 points happening there. The Rams still have Brian Cook as safety coming back. Just want to say kudos to Scott. He went out and got himself a quarterback this week, made a trade. Who do you make that trade with? Made the trade with the 49ers, picked up Bo Nix, and Bo Nix getting him a victory this weekend. So good job going out and getting a quarterback and having your quarterback deliver you 34 points. That's point difference right there.
Not bad. I mean, Bo Nix may not be padding the stat sheet, but he's winning games.
He's winning games.
Mhm. That 60 yards and a win at the Jets. That one, man, that one still gets me, but he's winning games. That's all that matters for the Broncos. I Yeah. There you go. That is all of this week's matchups. Unfortunately, not a ton of drama. Most of these are over with.
So I
And
got a couple things I want you to take a look here. Just could be interesting. I looked at top point scores for the week. If you want to click on that,
that's always fun.
right there.
Yep.
Um, Click 5 and 5. There you go.
Yep.
Anyways, click over to the NFC. Found this one interesting, and I'll let you guys go crazy over it. But our number 7th score for the week, hit 5, is Joe Flacco. He's the 7th top scorer for the week, and he is a free agent. Can you
Yeah.
flip? Hit
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, there
There
we
you
go.
go.
Well, I had it defaulted
Okay.
um free agent. So yeah, there you go. I mean, I still believe Shane Steichen, the Colts head coach, is a good offensive coordinator. And they can move the ball with somebody who can make easy throws. Anthony Richardson has been struggling with those so far. So I really did feel like, and that's why he's sitting on my bench, why I added him to my roster. If Anthony Richardson keeps getting hurt, then Flacco is going to come in there and he's going to be productive in this offense. They have a great offensive line. They have an excellent running back in Jonathan Taylor, and they don't have a ton of weapons, but those pieces and that offensive coordinator, they can move the ball, and they're going to have to because their defense is terrible. They're going to end up in a lot of shootouts. So I felt like Joe Flacco, if you're in a pinch, can give you some production.
Well, the two things I took from this when I pulled up this report, one was Joe Flacco had 46 points, which was hard to believe. And second,
Right?
he was a free agent in the NFC side. So um, I don't think he will be a free agent after
Not for
Wednesday.
long.
Nope. And I'm sure it's probably going to cost more than the league minimum of 1.1 million.
It certainly might. That's what I've got him for as well as the league minimum. I unfortunately I didn't use him this week, but Flacco would not have been enough. I would have had to have moved some other guys around to beat Rich this week. So but yeah, that is wild, isn't it? And then of course Kirk Cousins leading the way with his ridiculous outing against the Buccaneers.
Go Falcons.
Wow. Wow, wow. How about that? All right. So we still have an undefeated team, and that is the Packers.
So a couple things to highlight. So far, currently, Buffalo Bill sitting at the high score right now with 368. He's going to add to that with his players left.
Mm-hmm.
There are some teams that have a chance to make a run for that top score for the weekend, which will be good. The other thing I wanted to point out, and this isn't to toot my horn, but I put a power ranking out last week after week 4.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to tell you that 7 out of the top 8 teams are going to walk away with the victories in that list. And the only one that's taking the loss is going to be whoever's going to be the loser between the Raiders and the Patriots, who I had number 2 and number 4. So I don't know if I'm normally that accurate, but I was surprised when I saw it. So I'll run another one tomorrow, see what an updated list gets us, what the formula says. But the numbers fell where they fell. So
And the formula might be putting me in the bottom 4, and I wouldn't be mad at that formula. It's not looking good. So I might have, if I want to try to stay competitive, it's going to be desperation and moving Hill for pieces. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Good stuff. Anything else we want to highlight other than you're going to sleep well tonight?
I am going to sleep well tonight because my game's in hand, and yeah, I don't think I need to watch too much of that game. If you want to take a look at next week's game, we got an interesting game
Oh yeah.
that's going to draw some interest here. Week 6 coming up, and that second one down there, we got a Bengals Dolphins match.
Ooh.
And I think with Rich's offense coming back, I know that he's got most of his studs coming back because most of them were on buys this week. I think I don't know if I don't know if I can call it an upset if Rich beats the Bengals. So
Man, not that it means anything, but they got Nick as a 30-point favorite here.
well, I did study that's taking it off of our league average. Takes it off of our league average until we put in our lineups, and then it tweaks it down to who's on bye and who we're starting. So
Gotcha.
by that looks, Nick is scoring 30 more points than what Rich is every week. But Rich had that slow start where he lost his first 2 games of the week and hasn't lost since. So I think he's now on a 5-game winning streak after today. So I'll be rooting for Rich.
Yeah, so Sean asked how you sleep without putting your best team out there.
I never put my best team out there. If I knew, I could sleep very easily. But you saw me pick in Survivor. Well, fantasy football is the same way.
Yeah.
The best thing I've got going for me in fantasy is my team's not full of Falcon guys.
There you go. This matchup is not quite as intriguing as it's been in years past, but I will look forward to my matchup against the Titans.
Maybe
He
you guys can
really
do an
likes.
SAV about that.
Well, I think we'll probably do a stupid ass video about this. Dustin also really likes to talk trash about the Colts, and I like to talk trash against the Bears. So there have been some spats due to that. So it is what it is. I have fun with it. All right. I think that pretty much wraps it up, guys. Thanks everybody that watched live. It's always cool to see the comments comes in. It certainly makes it more fun to do this. And don't forget, if you ever want to join us, it's really easy to do. Even if you don't have a camera, if you just have a microphone, you can still join. And it's very easy to hop in the stream. So but thank you guys for watching. Good luck to those that actually have some skin in these games tonight,
Yep.
but that's not many of you. Most of these are over. So, and somebody beat the Bengals and somebody beat the Packers, please.
You can beat the Panthers too. I wouldn't mind Flick taking a couple of losses too, so I can take the league there. So
There you
just
go.
got to throw that in. Sorry, Adam. Don't mean to kick you while you're down, but dude, I can't catch you right now. So
All right, Dave. Well, since you're going to sleep well, I'll let you get your pre kickoff nap in. Uh, and for everybody else, we will see you next week, guys. Thank you for joining us.
all right, thanks for joining us, guys. Go enjoy the Saints and the Chiefs tonight. So see you guys.
Later.